Thank you, Mr. Williams, and a pleasant good afternoon to everyone. This afternoon, as per usual, I'll share with you the Health Emergency Operating Center Situation Report for Wednesday, March 10. Ladies and gentlemen, I bring to your attention that we have an increase in the number of confirmed cases. So St. Kitts and Nevis today would have identified an additional imported case of COVID-19. And so that brings our total to 42. So 42 confirmed cases of COVID-19, 29 St. Kitts, 13 Nevis. Please note that 24 days would have elapsed between our identifying case 41 and today case 42. So 24 days elapsed without our identifying any additional imported cases. So as of today, St. Kitts and Nevis, we would have reported 42 confirmed cases of COVID-19. 41 cases have fully recovered, and so at present we have one active case in isolation and is being monitored. Based on the World Health Organization's COVID-19 dashboard, approximately 117.3 million persons have been confirmed with COVID-19 globally, and over 2.6 million persons have died from this disease globally. In the United States of America, they would have confirmed over 29.1 million cases and reported over 527,000 deaths as a result of COVID-19. In the Caribbean region, the total number of confirmed cases is over 550,000. That's in the Caribbean region. But amongst the CARICOM member states, the confirmed cases, the count is over 114,000 persons. In the Eastern Caribbean islands, Antigua and Barbuda, 862 confirmed cases of COVID. Barbados, it's over 3,300. St. Lucia, over 3,900. St. Vincent and the Grenadines, over 1,600 confirmed cases of COVID-19. Today, another batch of our USVM students would have come into the Federation. We had 74 students coming in from Miami and 2 from Puerto Rico. So a total of 76 students are now in quarantine on the dorms at the RUSVM campus. Again, we are going to follow the same protocols. They will be tested upon arrival. They will spend 14 days in quarantine, be tested on day 14, and then they will be officially released from quarantine once their results would have returned negative after that test on day 14 of quarantine. To date, we would have tested over 10,000 persons. Again, 42 results returned positive with a positivity rate of approximately 0.4%. And then this just underscores 41 cases would have recovered. We have 1 in isolation, so a total of 42 confirmed cases. And then you see the number of persons in quarantine at present, 386. We would have released over 5,800 persons from quarantine. That's from over the period of about a year. All right, so this afternoon we are going to talk again about the COVID-19 vaccine. So we received 2,000 doses as a gift from Dominica. We would have received 20,000 doses from the government of India. As a federation, we are expecting our allotment through the COVAX facility, and that's about 21,600 doses. Please note that access to COVID-19 vaccines is very, very important, because this is a sure way of curbing the spread of this disease. Now we are offering or rolling out the AstraZeneca Oxford COVID-19 vaccine here in the Federation. I just wanted to reiterate some of the characteristics of this vaccine. Based on the clinical trials, it offers a 63 to 83% risk reduction in contracting the actual disease itself. We are administering this vaccine. The dosing schedule, it's 2 doses. So persons who would have received the first dose, you are given a 10-week appointment to return for the second dose. Again, it's indicated for individuals or adults over the 18 years of age. And so that's an absolute. It's only given to adults over 18 years. So that's an absolute. The science tells us that it's quite effective against the SARS-CoV-2 variant that was identified in the United Kingdom. And so far, the side effect profile of this vaccine seems to be reasonably mild and minimal. In terms of, I will explain further in this presentation some of the side effects that the persons locally are describing. This vaccine was manufactured by the Serum Institute of India, very reputable entity. Please note that over 90% of the vaccines utilized globally were manufactured by the Serum Institute of India. So it's a reputable organization. We rolled out our vaccine campaign on Monday, February the 22nd, and in just 2 weeks, in 14 days, because I think those are we've been vaccinating now between then and now for about 14 days, because we are actually also offering this vaccine on a Saturday mornings at the Newtown Health Center. And so over the past 2-week period, we would have vaccinated 5,176 persons. So we would have administered 5,176 doses. And so we would have reached 15.67% of the target population. This just highlights further. So as I said before, we would have administered 5,176 doses, 3,699 doses in St. Kitts, 1,477 doses administered in Nevis, 15.67% of our target population. So who can access this COVID-19 vaccine? I'm going to spend some time on this slide because we are getting a number of questions as to who can come in to any health center and access this vaccine. So once you are over 18 years, over 18 to 80 years of age, you can walk freely into any health center and request this vaccine. If you are 80 and if you are over 80 years, we are just recommending that you go to your regular physician, be evaluated, and get the nod of approval that you can proceed in getting the vaccine. So anyone within this age range can just walk into any health center, St. Kitts, Nevis, and access this vaccine. So in other words, if you're working in the private sector, you're a cashier, or you're in an entity where you are serving the general public, it means you are at risk of picking up SARS-CoV-2 virus, you need to be vaccinated. If you're a civil servant and you're interacting with the general public, your job requires that you interact with the general public. That means you're at risk of SARS-CoV-2 virus. You need to be vaccinated. So if you're a customer service representative, if you're a cashier, if you are working in the utilities, one of the utility companies, and you have to serve the general public, you are at risk of been exposed to the virus, and so you are a candidate for vaccination. We are getting a lot of questions from individuals with chronic medical conditions, and they are asking, if I have diabetes, can I take the vaccine? Yes, you can. If I have hypertension, can I take the vaccine? Yes, you can. If you have asthma, you are a candidate for the COVID-19 vaccine. If you have heart disease, if you have kidney disease, if you have arthritis, if you have any of these chronic medical conditions, and this list is not exhaustive, okay? So if you have any questions, just call your regular physician, just, get that nod of approval, and then you can go to the nearest health center to access this vaccine. And some persons are asking, I am taking aspirin, ASA, 81 milligrams or 325 milligrams. I've been doing so for months, years. Can I take this vaccine? Yes, you can. And so a number of persons on the, diagnosed with these chronic medical conditions, you are taking medication, antihypertensive, anti-diabetic medication. Yes, these are not contraindications for taking the vaccine. So feel free, if you want to back check with your regular doctor, once you get the nod of approval, you can go to the nearest health center to access the vaccine. Again, the health centers are the official or designated COVID-19 vaccination sites, all 11 health centers, St. Kitts, all 6 health centers in Nevis. Okay, so what's the vaccination process? So once you would have armed and empowered yourself with the facts and the information, we want you to make an informed decision to take this vaccine. So on the day you decide to go, make sure to dress appropriately, short sleeves or sleeveless, so that you can easily receive your intramuscular injection in your left or your right arm. When you go to the health center, the nurses are going to ask you to complete the pre-vaccination checklist. You would get your first dose, and then upon receipt of your first dose, you'll be given your COVID-19 vaccination record card. This is a very important document. We want you to keep it safe and secure, like you do all your other immunization records. After receiving the vaccine at the health center, it's recommended that you sit in the waiting lobby of the health center for 15 minutes, just to make sure there aren't any untoward reactions or allergic responses to this vaccine. So after 15 minutes, you are free to go. You'll be given an appointment to return in 10 weeks to get the second dose. Upon receipt of the second dose, your vaccination record card will be stamped, and that will be your official record of your COVID-19 vaccination. Okay, so at this time, there are 1 or 2 individuals who are experiencing the common cold with fever. We ask if you are in this category, we'll ask you, or we will recommend that you postpone vaccination until you would have recovered. If you're pregnant at this time, if you're breastfeeding, we also ask that you postpone vaccination. Now, the only 2 absolute contraindications to this vaccine are 1, if you're under 18 years, and 2, if you had or if you experienced a significant allergic reaction to the first dose. Those are the only 2 absolute contraindications to receiving this vaccine. The Ministry of Health would have developed a comprehensive communication strategy and plan, and the aim of which is to empower our people in terms of with the information, so that we can create the demand and acceptance of this vaccine. So what are some of the common post-vaccine symptoms? And so persons who would have received this vaccine locally would have described tenderness at the injection site, like I did in my left arm. So I received my vaccine a week ago, and there isn't any tenderness. My arm is quite fine. Some persons complained of feeling cold or chills on the evening after receiving the vaccine, and some describe even experiencing a mild fever relieved by just simple paracetamol or acetaminophen tablets, feeling malaise, fatigue. Some described body aches and pains, and some complained of just mild headache. So these are the most common post-vaccine symptoms being experienced locally. Okay, we at present, the Ministry of Health, we are hosting stakeholder meetings. So we would have engaged and had educational talks with some of our stakeholders, and the aim of which is to empower our people, provide the facts so that our local individuals can make informed decisions and accept this vaccine. And so the Ministry of Health would have had sessions with immigration, customs, the various hotels, and public and private sector entities. So if there are any stakeholders in need of such a stakeholder meeting, simply call 311 and then we will facilitate same. The goal, our ultimate vaccination goal, is to vaccinate our adult population. Based on our last census, the number of persons between over age 18 constituted or made up 72.4% of our population. So that's our target population. While we vaccinate our people, we must continue the essential public health actions to suppress transmission and reduce mortality. And so the Ministry of Health, we continue active surveillance, looking out for persons who exhibit the signs and COVID signs and symptoms. We continue testing, and we continue advocating the COVID-19 prevention and control measures. Ladies and gentlemen, get the facts, choose the vax. Choose the Oxford AstraZeneca vaccine. So say yes to the vaccine. Ladies and gentlemen, saying yes to the AstraZeneca Oxford vaccine is saying yes to keeping our schools open. Our children need to go to school. We need our schools to remain open, and not even on a shift system. Our students want to experience school like they did 2 years ago. So saying yes to the vaccine is saying yes to our schools remaining open. Saying yes to the vaccine is saying yes to church without limits. Choosing to take the vaccine is saying yes to funerals without limits. Choosing to take the vaccine is saying yes to football with spectators. Choosing to take the vaccine is saying yes to basketball and cricket with spectators. Here's a picture of some football lovers standing on cars just, trying to get a glimpse of the match. We want everybody to go back into our stadiums. Saying yes to the vaccine is saying yes to events and parties without limits. Saying yes to the vaccine is saying yes to Carnival 2021. Hopefully. The vaccine is our best shot. Our best shot at protecting ourselves, protecting our families and loved ones, protecting our communities, rebuilding our economy. Thank you.